Does my screen look weird? Is it okay?
Nah, you're good, man. Hello, welcome to Livin La Vida Lockdown, the online comedy chat show hosted by me, Rob Mulholland. Happy Hot Boxing Day. We have with me today, a fucking brilliant lineup again. We've got Glenn Wool.
Hello.
And Dane Baptiste.
My mum's not watching this. Hello.
Hello, and you are my first returning guest, Dane, so welcome back. Good to have you again, man. And
speaks volumes about the opportunities available to me during lockdown. So thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I'd like to say a big thank you to the lack of opportunities for comedians to do other shit. And down in this corner, we've got Phil Chapman. You all right, Phil?
Hey, what's up?
Nice one. And like I was saying before we came on air, this is more of a lineup I should have had for yesterday for the 4:20. Like I did the most stoner thing of all time. Right, this show is normally at 4:20 p.m. It's very much I get stoned, chat to me mates sort of show. For 4:20 on the 4th of it's 20th of April 2020. It's the most 4:20 of all time. I booked 3 people who don't smoke weed because I forgot.
Which is kind of a stoner thing, isn't it?
It's a very stoner thing.
It was very on brand. But I know Phil and Dane, you're both partial. Did you have a nice 4:20? Did you do anything?
No, I couldn't go anywhere. Just chilled in the flat,
Well, yeah, I didn't think you went down Hyde Park.
Yeah, I spread rumors on the internet about Hyde Park. There was loads of fake news about it, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah, it definitely works. People were like, "I am appalled." People were doing videos, being like, "I am appalled that some people are flouting this stay-at-home incentive by going to smoke weed." And I'm like, "You sound like you're high."
Yeah, and the last people you need to worry about breaking the rules of going outside are stoned people.
Right, and who's gonna have the most respiratory resilience?
Exactly, man.
People.
It got me.
I lose a lung at Hyde Park. One more of that's come, I'm gonna still be smoking. I'm sorry, key workers. Your work is very important. I don't want to jeopardize that at all.
Yeah, but no one went out. It was fine. It's just people are excited to have a grass about anything. Are you in? Whereabouts are you, Glenn, at the moment? Like, where are you locked down?
I'm in the Essex countryside.
Right.
With the hangover, because I do it old style.
Nice. There we go. Yeah. Still boozing hard, man. I can't do it anymore, man. It's, I wasn't good at it. Or too good at it. Maybe that was my problem. I was too good at it. Yeah, I did feel like there wasn't much left for me in the drinking world. I was still done.
In the drinking leagues, he went straight from high school to the league instead of playing college drinking.
Yeah.
I got drafted straight out of school and
straight into the NBA, but the B's a bottle and the A is for alcohol. So
right. Yeah. So fair off now. So you're with the family though, Glenn, yeah?
Yes, yeah, it was very strange. I had to move back to the UK on 3 days' notice. Very sadly, my wife's sister died.
Oh shit, man! Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we had to come back here in the middle of a pandemic.
It's crazy, man. So you because I thought you had you moved back to Canada.
Yeah. So.
I can't imagine moving. Yeah, I can't imagine moving at the moment is an easy process, especially from Canada to the UK.
Do you know what? It was okay. Because most of the places understood. Like a couple of United Airlines tried to be dicks because I had to cancel all my flights that I had for work and stuff, and they wanted to charge me $150 because I had a rewards flight. They wanted to charge me $150 to put the points back in my account. I was like,
cheeky bastards.
You fucking cunts. Don't you try. I didn't cause the pandemic. If anything, it was you flying your filthy planes all over the world.
Yeah. And remember that terrorist thing? What airline was it? I don't bring that up every September the 11th.
Pandemic American. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's true, man. I think companies right now who are trying to grasp money like that, surely they are shooting themselves in the fucking foot. People are going to remember who's being a cunt right now and who's being decent.
Yeah, well, honestly, that's what's happened. United, I think, read a couple of, because I used to have a few cocktails and start responding because they were sending me emails. They upgraded the flight. They thought that was that. They thought that's what I wanted. But they were like, "Hey, we got you into business class." I was like, "Here we go."
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. So they ended up. Yeah, they gave me my money back and put the things back in. But the only problem I've had is still car insurance in British Columbia is run by the government. You can't they just do it all. And I tried to I was pretty I stepped over the line here. I tried to sign a letter digitally.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, like everybody else is understanding that there's a pandemic. I'm like, look, I'm stuck in the UK. I just need to cancel this insurance. They're like, oh, no. Remove the plates, send them back. Now, you tried to digitally sign this. We can't understand that. So what you're going to have to do is write it out in pen, take a photograph of that, and send that to us. And if you can't complete those to us, well, I'm sorry. We just don't do business that way. I'm like, you fucking monopoly.
Right back to the Stone Age, those sons of bitches.
Anyone who wants me to print anything out, do anything on a piece of paper now for some official capacity, get fucked. It's like, join me in this century. Join me in this fucking century.
There are one below people that still call you when they're like, I need something to tell you. And you're like, cool, I await your voice note. They actually call you.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Come on, buddy.
Send me a voice note so I can listen to it at my own leisure.
At my own leisure and pace, and I can pause when you really get into it. And also, it leaves me that window of being able to send you some detached, flippant emojis and get on with my fucking day.
Yeah, man.
That's right. That's right.
Why are you calling me for? I'm not your fucking shrink, right?
This better be about a fire.
Yes, Mom, I know your back hurts, but NHS Direct, that's why they're called Direct.
Yeah.
They'd be happy to have the call. It's been all COVID the last couple of years.
On the phone talking about
finally a bit of variety.
Overstuffed.
Mate.
All overstuffed. Come on, buddy.
I turned on my PlayStation the other day and it was like, it's got a little warning at the start that says like, if you suffer from epilepsy, get like a script from your doctor so you can play this, get it okay by the doctor. And I was thinking, like, imagine doing it now.
Yeah, man.
Like, doctor to be like, yeah, just want you to okay me to play PS4.
Just there with the scars from his PPE buried into his cheeks.
Puts on one just specially for the meeting and everything. Like, wastes
it. I've been waiting for an official assessment of my ADHD for like 18 months, and like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I don't know if they're prioritizing middle-aged comedians who can't find their keys.
And also,
are they going at like a normal pace in terms of processing this? Or is it because of your disorder that you're like, this is taking way too long?
And now, like, it's
well, I don't think you have it because you would have been more precise with how long it had taken. It was like 18 months. No.
I think you're very much underestimating the disorganization part of ADHD. Like, I'm an absolute fucking mess, mate. Like, honestly, it is. But like, it is not an easy process. You got to fill in loads of forms and go to loads of appointments at specific times, and if you miss those, then it gets pushed back. And I've been doing all right with it my end, but like, I have been thinking through the whole process. It's like, it's not designed for people who are bad at filling in forms and going to appointments on time. That's the whole condition.
That whole form bullshit is just designed to because they just want to cut out their work. So if they just make it these weird, like I had my luggage lost by Air Canada once. I tried to send them pictures of the receipts of the clothes I had to buy to take to the stage that evening.
Sure, yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, no, we need a fax from you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, can I borrow your fax machine?
And also your time machine? What the fuck?
I know. It's just adding some strange bit of fucking machinery.
Premier League football transfers are still done by fax. Like, in order to ratify a transfer in the Premier League, you have to send a fax to the FA. That's how you confirm it officially as done.
Which might be down to... So there's in law what's called the postal rule.
Right.
So as soon as you post something or you send it, then it is given power straight away. And doesn't require signature. So that makes, and then the signature makes that or you can accept a contract by either signature or what's called conduct, which is like if you turn up to the football ground, then obviously you're going to play for them. It means you agree to their terms.
Yeah.
Like they said it because it's like the postal rule, which is the same reason why if your tax, they send you a tax bill, as soon as they post it, then they've given it power. And then, which is why you can argue, I've not received it yet. So they'll say that's why they do recorded delivery, because if you send something by recorded delivery, you have a record that you've now sent a contract for it to have power in the first place. But it's like a real common thing that companies do to fuck people over, is that they're aware that we don't have much time. So they make things very bureaucratic on purpose. So you just go, oh, fuck, I can't be bothered. So
yeah, terms and conditions, isn't it, man?
Yeah, it's like, you go to like a small boutique or somewhere and they say no refunds and this doesn't affect your statutory rights. It's because you're always entitled to a refund in any kind of commerce, as long as it's not something that's perishable, or like, the pants that you've skidded in, you normally give it back. But and they sometimes exchange for credit, but you can always exchange something for a monetary refund. Just that the litigation you may have to go through in order to get it is just a ball ache.
Yeah,
so
It's the same with car parks, isn't it? When they write like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like,
People say fuck it and they
car.
store credit. But yeah, all these things are like private companies and stuff. Is like you park there, but their agreement is with the registered keeper. So if you were driving a car that's not yours, for example, the owner of the car can be like, well, I wasn't driving at the time, so I'm not liable for this ticket. Which I tell my mum all the time, but she don't listen, and I got to pay them anyway. So
yeah, man, like I'm fucking bad with car park fines, man. I like it's again an ADHD thing. I always fucking miss the letter about it and forget to do it on time. And like basically, if I get a 30 quid ticket, that is going to be me paying 800 quid in 2 years' time. That's all it is. Like that, every single one of them. It's like,
or like me, you keep running.
Yeah.
Keep running.
Like, I did that for a long time.
Limitations. We call it, it's what we refer to as the successful Weinstein stance.
I don't think we have a statute of limitations here, do we?
Oh, do we not?
I don't think in Britain, nah, man. Because, like, trust me, like a lot of people found me last year. I must have like put my name on a bit of paperwork where, like, I was finally on a database.
You registered to vote.
Yeah, I did that after. Like, it was when people had already caught me. I wasn't registering to vote for years, mate. I'm not a fucking amateur. Like, I was off grid for a while.
That would be stupid.
Yeah. And it didn't affect anything. We've got such solid governance now.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
There might be a reason, Rob, that you can't get the healthcare required for an effective diagnosis.
No, it's fine, man. Like I lived when the last election was on, I didn't vote, but I lived in an area where the Labour vote increased. I lived in Hove on the outskirts of Brighton. Like it's only middle-class lesbian couples there. Like, my vote was not changing anything. It didn't matter. Like, if I was in a key swing seat, I would have sucked it up and taken the bailiffs coming.
That's a rainbow state for sure.
Yeah, it really is, man. Like, it's just the most middle-class place on fucking earth.
It's a swing state, but a different type of swing.
Like, Phil, like, are you in Liverpool at the moment?
Yeah. There's no point in me voting ever.
There's no need. There's
no point. Yeah. No.
Everything's fucking red.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if Liverpool actually went conservative, because the one dude who like just showed up and voted conservative, he won by one vote, because everybody else is just like, oh, come on.
Like that Simpsons episode. One for Martin, two for Martin.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened with Brexit. Not to open old wounds, but everybody was kind of like.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when that was an issue?
What happened to that?
Remember that? Yeah. People like, we want freedom of movement within our own borders.
The conservative. Sorry, the conservative dude in Liverpool was tweeting that he was going to be running for the Conservative Party in Liverpool, and it was just full of him getting told to fuck off, and he blocked all his constituents because they all told him to fuck off.
Can you imagine when they're picking areas in the Tory party and they're like, you'll have Berkshire. Excellent. Berkshire for you, as usual. And you, Humphrey, Liverpool. Hey, come on. They eat munchie boxes there.
It's like, no, you know what you did to that 8-year-old, right? You've got to have a couple of years in Liverpool to atone for that. That's how we deal with these sort of things.
Really? What, because she wasn't 9, Gerald?
I think 8's a little old. That was what
I guess this is the new Conservative Party.
Yeah, they actually pick constituencies in that golden temple on Epstein's Island. They're doing like the NBA draft. Whoever's fucked the oldest person has to go to Liverpool.
Yeah. Keep it fair.
You had all day.
6 years old, lovely stuff. Off to Cheshire with you. Man, I'm doing my best to get cancelled while there is no industry to be cancelled from.
I mean, can't be cancelled now.
Can't be cancelled if there's no comedy to get cancelled from. Fuck off.
Yeah,
exactly. Also, these jokes about it aren't going to change what happened.
This is it, man. Totally. Like, I find it mad that like I've had. Have you found a difference in tone like online in like the reactions thing? I think people are getting more tense, man. Like, I'm getting like more shitty comments, like not necessarily complaints, but just more people trying to be a dick. Where it's like,
I found right at the start of the lockdown, everybody was really nice and like in it together. It was really positive, and then it just 2 weeks, the first cunt went, and the rest were like, "Oh, there he is! Let's go!"
Yeah.
It's like the first person to throw a stone in a riot. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah. Now we're on an upside down police car. Like, yeah.
It feels like globally, it's like being at a concert and you're waiting for the person to come out, and then the lights go off and everyone goes, and then the opening act comes out and they're like, before we're just about to see Michael Jackson, but before we do, these guys from Hartlepool,
Have you ever seen like a proper like mad support act you weren't expecting, right? The maddest I've ever seen, I went to see Sean Paul in Manchester like about 18 months ago, and like the whole event was bizarre, but supporting him, right? I walked in, I was a little bit late to the support act, but I walked in as Fat Man Scoop was shirtless on stage singing No Woman No Cry. And like, I'll be honest with you, the rest of the gig could not follow that.
Is that his song?
Go ahead.
No, it is not. It is No Woman No Cry is not Fat Man Scoop's song. I don't know if you've heard the song, but in the middle of it, it doesn't go, "If you got a $50 bill, put your hands up."
That would improve that a lot.
Stop crying. That noise.
Glenn, do you know who Fat Man Scoop is?
No, and you don't want to know what I'm imagining in my head.
No, I'll be honest with you. You're probably right.
Yeah, you're probably pretty close.
Yeah. The dude you're picturing. Yep, that's him. That's.
If I were Fat Man Scoop,
yeah,
I would have already brokered a brand partnership with an ice cream company. So they're like, "You want 1, 2? I'm gonna take a Fat Man Scoop, please."
See, man, that's why you're that entrepreneurial brain, Dane. Always going,
new things, alternate revenue streams. I was thinking I might start like like OnlyFans pages where like you can show nudie parts. Being aware that dick pics are ubiquitous throughout the internet, that's not going to work. But I know that the ladies require a lot more visualization and description. So maybe if I started reading erotica on my OnlyFans page,
mate,
or maybe just have an OnlyFans page when I just listen. Let's listen to the ladies.
It's an OnlyFans page, and you just sit silently, and every now and again you go, "Oh yeah, she is a bitch."
Yeah, and look, it's not my business, but you deserve Bell.
Mate, I think there's a service in that. Like, you've got a nice voice, getting close to your microphone, all gentle.
That's it.
Give it some of
that.
I
do like ASMR, but like sexy ASMR. So it's ASMR.
Make sure they know that's a microphone.
Oh, but what if they don't know? Maybe I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with experimenting, as long as you're there. Because that's what they want to hear, Glenn. That's what they want to hear. That's what they hear. I can do online pegging, Glenn. I can do. It's the real life stuff that.
Never been pegged. Phil, have you ever been pegged?
Can't say I've tried it, but I might have done.
You might have done. I think you'd
I've
remember.
Been very drunk a number of times. I remember giving some guy a Valium once in it.
There was a guy in Manchester, wasn't there? He was like drugging.
Oh man, this was fucking crazy because this scared me because like I could have fallen victim to this guy because I basically is like
saying much. Anyway.
No, but like, hey, look, right, he'd be fucking lucky to get me, man. I'm a fucking.
That's right, girl. Yeah, that's right, girl.
I am objective 10 out of 10. So shut your fucking mouth.
Can I just have the drugs?
But no, man, it was like basically he'd like pick up like guys who'd been out drinking, like round in an area of Manchester I know really well where I would go drink regularly near where I lived, like really close. And like he would just find like guys who were like way too drunk, and like you can find those in Manchester city centre like fucking easy. There's plenty. But yeah, he'd pick them up, take them back to his flat, and fucking he didn't like he got away with it for years because like people were too embarrassed or they didn't really know what had happened because they were blacked out. Yeah, he was like the most prolific serial rapist in the country ever.
In the end, the greatest fight in Manchester was because the dude woke up and knew what he'd done and called the cops. And in the time between the cops getting there, he beat the fuck out of him. He beat him so badly that when the cops showed up, they arrested him.
Fucking hell.
It's the greatest fight Manchester will ever see.
It's like it's like the Second World War. It's like it's totally justified. Like, you know, there's an actual reason behind that. Where like if you're watching that, you'd be like, whoa, what's happening here? They'd explain and go, oh fucking yeah, crack on.
That's like it's one of those things where like, you know, when people that go and like do they shoot endangered animals for like trophies, and then you hear like they've been eaten by a hippopotamus, and you're like,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
God's plan.
Yeah.
God's plan.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a God after all.
Should have been a better shot.
Yeah, right. Or the time. Or there's that viral video of the dude that was trying to like shoot a horse, and then the horse was basically trying to butt fuck him, and you're like, not fair.
Yeah.
Fair. If you don't want any trouble, don't dress like
that.
He was wearing a rifle, the slut.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that on your fans only? Because I'd like to see that.
I'll send you details after the podcast.
Look at Glenn saying it wrong, like he doesn't know what OnlyFans is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, one of these fan sites, is it? What is on them? Oh, naked women. Oh, I've never heard such a thing. Like, man, like I get OnlyFans advertised to me constantly. Like, my Instagram is a fucking shambles, mate. Like, it's why I don't use Insta that much. If I go on like the homepage where it's like all the stuff that's recommended for me,
the explore page.
My explore page is just women who have trouble in relationships with an elderly relative. Like, it's just constant. And like, so I can't go on there because then I find new ones and then I end up following them and then they pop up in my page every day and distract me from anything else I'm trying to do in my life. So like, I've rationed myself. I've had to like wean it right down. There's about 5 that I can't get rid of. I just can't bring myself.
Just trying to change. I'm not ready to change who I am, but I'm ready to change my algorithm.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I can't work on who I am as a person. That's indeed.
It's too late to change. But
yeah.
It's bad for me as well, like because obviously a lot of my friends are now middle-aged and in their 40s, and men in their 40s who have now been forced to stay at home with their families are people you do not want to be in WhatsApp groups with, because they're not in the like game. You know, they kind of got out of the game when porn became free and ubiquitous, and before this stuff, Snapchats and the like. So now that they're at home, trying to find these new and more novel ways to like exchange pictures between them. So like, loads of friends, guys are like, I've got the login for OnlyFans. Look at this person. Look at this person. You're like, my friends are, you know, gainfully employed, hardworking career men, great fathers, good husbands. But these guys are some desperate fucking pervs. Mutes! What's wrong with you guys? Come on, man. Guys are like, oh my God, did you see it? I'm like, these guys are so, you know, there was a time when as a comedian, I thought being at home all day and being forced to love myself before I wait for a gig in a place I didn't know anybody was a point of shame. But I know, you know, just like any criminal, the only difference between me and the civilians is that now we're all on the inside.
Yeah, everyone's experiencing the comedian lifestyle at the moment. Like, yeah, fill your
been
fucking
my dream
days.
for years.
Absolutely.
I work hard for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in your days, Phil? Like, what's your day to day? Like,
I get up, I do some work on some videos and that, and then go for a run, do some workouts, come back.
Are you running every day? Like,
yeah. I do like sprints up and down the hill.
It's the number one thing that will make people exercise is like, or do anything. If you say you can only put your dick in one mousetrap per day, right? You best believe we're putting our dicks in a mousetrap every fucking day. Like, you know, maybe even twice when no one's looking. Yeah, like
my dick, my choice.
Yeah, I've suddenly. Oh man, have you seen those fucking protesters People protesting against the lockdown, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
America's leading epidemiologists all downtown.
Yeah.
Booger, Skunk, One-Eyed Linda.
I need a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that lady too.
Yeah.
How can I cut my hair? Your hair is
She's
already
like,
very short, madam. It's like,
Showing her roots and that. Look at
yeah,
her.
she's like,
Look
I
at
need
her.
to cut my hair. My lips,
dare
my
her.
choice.
It's fucking madness, isn't it? Like, yeah, don't take medical advice off anyone who arrived in a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Well, here's a thought I had though, because they're obviously going to get a second wave now, obviously, and it's going to be worse than the first one, which may lead to mandatory voting by smartphone in November.
Ooh, interesting.
And with that, already a pandemic that preys on the elderly, so the elderly vote either can't understand how their phones work or they're dead. The youth now can all vote in between video games. The Green Party could win because I don't think Biden could fucking.
Bernie should stand as a fucking independent. He'd win by a mile. If Bernie ran as an independent,
that's exactly what he should do.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly.
Well, and if it goes to smartphones, he should
100%. Because that would change the world more than anything else. And like,
In Estonia, they vote by phone.
Yeah, Estonia is really far forward thinking on technology. It's a real technology hub, Estonia.
Where my last name is from.
Oh, there we go. Bit of culture. Guys,
family.
we pulled it all round. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Learning all about rules.
And Phil, where's your surname from? Mine is from oppressive slave drivers.
Is it? Mine too, but the other side.
You are such a Chapman. There's nothing more Chapman than that. I'm a man twice. I'm a chap and a man. Twice the man, Phil. Twice the man.
Fucking silent assassin. Just waited in the wings.
Oh man, that was a full-on headshot.
I'm out. I'm done. See you later, guys.
You don't keep going out.
I'd like to say hello to anyone watching Best Bits Part 2. Because that just fucking made it.
Please like and subscribe.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. I need your validation.
Because Phil earlier was like, I wake up very early. I go for a run to find my target.
Yeah, he's just been out smelling that joke's shit in the field. Like, fresh, it's close. It's like, where are your roots though, Phil?
Well, I was born in the UK,
and
then grew up in Texas, and then moved back to the UK when they kicked me out. But I think Chapman is like a traveling like hawker. That's what the name actually means.
Right. All right.
Basically, comedian.
Yeah. You very much followed in the family line, innit?
Yeah. So I was like born in the Northeast in Middlesbrough, and then moved down south for a bit, and then moved to Texas.
Yeah, that's why you've got that absolutely fucking mental accent.
Weird accent that I have to reference every show, otherwise
of course you do. Of course you do.
Mad middle-aged woman will heckle me and be like, "Just where is it? It's not quite one of the home counties."
No, you've got to say straight away, unfortunately, because otherwise you will just, if you've never heard your accent before, all you'll be I know if I was there, I'd be like, "Where the fuck's this cunt from?" Like,
like this dude from Middlesbrough just said howdy.
Yeah. I'm from Middlesbrough, y'all. We're gonna have a Palmo barbecue.
I'm there when I was in LA. I went in because the Americans perceive me to have an English accent. They don't
really.
Yeah. And I walked into a casting, and all I said was hello. And the woman went, "What are we going to do about that accent?" Like, what are we going to do about yours?
Yeah, fucking hell.
Pressure over there.
Yeah.
People will think I'm Australian or Canadian. That's what they go for. They're like, sometimes Irish. But some of that creeps in because my missus is Irish, so she's got like,
you don't need.
What's the crack, howdy?
Mate, just stick around people who've got no accent, man. You can't have any more influences on this. Like, don't hang out with any Jamaicans. It's going to be all over the fucking shop.
No, Do it, Phil.
Yeah, do it. All right.
Immerse yourself in the culture.
Start hanging out with loads of Japanese people and stuff. Just
Make sure you tell them that joke about the slave owner.
They fucking love that one.
Oh, mate, he'll go down an absolute treat. Yeah.
Don't add any context to it either. Just go, he said, I said.
And then
So
be like,
I was speaking to a black guy.
They'll be like, well, them come from blood clot, Texas. I'm not surprised.
Does anyone else want to do that accent? I'm going to throw it out to the floor if anyone else wants to end a career.
I barely wanted to do it. So I was Cool Runnings Jamaican at best.
Man, I am sitting that one out.
What's the worst accent you guys have heard in the film? Because for me, I'd say it was the dude who played a Cockney in Green Street Elite with Elijah Wood.
I don't know if I've seen Elite. I've seen Green Street. Is that
and
the
there's
same?
The other dude. Yeah, so Green Street. Green Street. That's the name of the film. Yeah,
yeah.
The blonde dude, like the blonde.
Oh, mate,
lad.
it's insane, isn't it? He's like Australian or some shit, and they get him to be the Cockney, and it's sort of, hello, mister. Shall we go for a little bit of football violence now? It's like, it's
if
insane.
you give me any argy-bargy, I will smoke you like a chimney.
Yeah, like, Phil, you sound more Cockney than this guy.
Especially these days.
Oh, man, it's insane. Like, I'd never get that. I just make the character from there, wherever they're from. Have you seen Knives Out?
Oh, I've heard of it. Is it good? It's a good film.
It's really good, actually. It's like a murder mystery caper sort of thing, and it's Daniel Craig is in the lead role as the actor, and you've just got to roll with his accent. That's how you enjoy that film. If you start picking holes in that accent, you'll be there all fucking day.
What accent is it?
He's gone for he's like a southern gentleman. He's like, something is afoot, and he literally
declare.
He literally says, "I do declare," and something is afoot. Like two of the lines, but it's a lot of fun. The film, but fuck me, it's all over the shop.
Daniel Craig, I know you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, big fan.
I'm slightly disappointed. From someone who had to play a spy.
That was the best thing about Chernobyl, is they didn't give him accents. You know, like
yeah.
The story still worked.
Yeah, Chernobyl was amazing.
Did this bother you guys about Chernobyl? That the woman in it was not. They just
made her.
That was an amalgam of 50 dudes.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah, it was like it was like Soviet Russia wasn't progressive. Like, you know, it wasn't like, I don't think they really had feminism as an idea in nuclear reactors in the 80s. I would
put a record in saying, as in, you don't even need to use the past tense. Russia. It's not like they were like, well, you know, in those days it was hard for all. Nothing has changed.
Are you trying to suggest that Russia is not progressive, Dane? How dare you?
Listen, and I quote, Vladimir Putin was like, long as I'm president, gay marriage, no.
I'd have loved it if they'd had like a two gay men storyline in Chernobyl just for the the progressiveness of it.
Well,
they go for a drink in a drag club after work.
Yeah.
And the naked miners, come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's something going on there. Oh, yeah, guys, the only way we can mine without getting too hot is if we all get our dicks out. It's like, are your pants really keeping you that warm?
Yeah.
You know,
someone's had some gamma radiation the size of you.
I think they knew they were going to die and they wanted to try it.
And I say, fair enough, right? I don't think you should wait till you're dying. If you want to have a go on a dick, have a go on a fucking dick, Russian miners.
Sure.
I feel like if you're going to try a dick, your deathbed is probably the best place to do so, unless you're dying from like dick overdoses. Then or like
anal trauma.
Yeah. Or you're dying from maybe a AIDS-related illness. Probably not the best time to try a mysterious dick. But other than that,
yeah.
If you're already dying from it, you might as well.
Okay, here's a question then. If you were to try, spending time in a nuclear reactor or spending time with a dick in your mouth, you probably go for the latter, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'll suck a dick before I go in a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there you go, right? See,
like, you can line dicks up before I'll go in a fucking nuclear reactor. Like, I'll Debbie Does Dallas it before I go inside there.
I don't think I'll do it on my deathbed though, because hopefully my wife and child will be there.
It might be a bit inconvenient. You're surrounded by your loved ones, and they're just like, it's so sad to see you go. You're like,
I've always wanted to do it.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know for the eulogy. I want to say Glenn's last words. They were beautiful. It was.
They were like, would it kill you for a reach around?
Wise words. Wise man.
The priest wants to come and do the last rites. I'm almost finished.
What's he look like?
It's not for me there.
He's already anointed him. That's not holy water.
Which is interesting. Ironically, the meaning of Baptiste. Always anointing folk with my holy water.
That is your unholy water, man.
Well, depends who you ask. Tends to end up in holes. How about that, Rob?
So when do you went down? Like, did you guys panic buy anything in particular? Did you stock up on a load of shit?
I have a macros card, so I kind of buy stuff in bulk anyway, like essentials like toilet paper and like liquid and washing up stuff. So like normal stuff in the house, I kind of buy in bulk anyway. I'm one of those comedians who's always been anticipating an apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I haven't really done it by that aspect.
Yeah,
For some reason, I panic bought tequila, even though it remains unopened.
It's not a good solo drink. Are you by yourself locked down as well?
No, I'm with the missus.
Oh,
so
right, okay. At least it's yeah. So it's not
you don't want to be partying with.
Oh man, tequila on your own is a bad time. Like I've been there. I've drank tequila alone. It's not a good feeling.
Do you know what the key to tequila is? A lot of ice and sip it.
Yeah,
and it's such a really mellow, nice.
I used to like it with a mixer, so I'd have tequila and some juice or something, and that was my holiday drink, and that was always good. That was always all right. It did me less bad than whiskey and coke. Like whiskey and coke was the thing that always I drank it every time, and it was always a spiral.
Yeah, every morning. How did that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen? I only had 18 double whiskeys last night.
Tattoos like a memento.
Yeah, that's what these mean, man. These are logos of casinos and strip bars.
Just seeing that dude from Manchester again, waking up next to him for the 12th time.
Yeah, that's his address written in there.
But that's the thing with
that's the directions to his house.
Yeah, like Prison Break, but you've got
yeah. It's cool. It's so funny. The guy from Prison Break, he's gay as well, right?
Which one?
I think the lead protagonist, because I didn't really watch it, because people were like,
because you don't like gay people.
Yeah. Well, it's not I don't like gay people at all. I'll have you know that I have a gay friend in my girlfriend's contacts. The point is this. When people were like, "Oh my god, have you seen Prison Break? It's really good looking, smart guys going to prison to try and break out his brother." And I was like, someone voluntarily went to prison who was intelligent and in good shape to help someone he loves. I don't know, it sounds kind of gay.
Yeah, it'd be a bit much if you went to prison and then your mate turned up and I came here for you. You probably shouldn't have done. I mean, thanks, I guess, but
I've joined a gang, mate. You're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. You could have sent me cigarettes and pictures of your wife. That would help.
Man, it'd be a shame if we were in prison in America, Dane. We'd have to be on opposite gangs.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
I'd send you kites though. Be like, "Hey, buddy."
Yeah, I know. We'd be passing each other notes in the canteen, just gazing across at each other.
Yeah. Montagues and Capulet, motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's leave me in this cell with him. I'll sort him out. And then when they all leave, we're just hug.
And I'd be
that's it. They're gonna make you guys fight each other. They kind of know each other, and it gets right to the day.
Yeah, we all kind of see him, and they'd be like, grudge match. And then I'd be like,
they let everybody out.
Yeah, there you go. It'd just be me and Rob left. But I promise, Rob, when it does go down, I'm not going to shiv you in any vital areas.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Keep it to the cheeks and stuff.
I'm serious, man. If it ever came down to it, any internal bleeding, if they remove it, you'll be fine. Gallbladder.
Thanks,
Who needs those? Gallbladder, spleen.
Exactly, man. I could do without that. Lighten me up. Like, do one of my kidneys. I've got another one.
Right?
Yeah.
A liver, you need a liver, right?
I need the liver. Like, my liver is already hanging on by a fucking thread, mate. Like,
that's the whole name.
10%.
That's the whole name. Whereas spleen, does that even sound like something you need? Not really. That's why it's called a spleen. That's some shit somebody made up. That was the bottom of the class when someone was like, "What'd you call that part?" When they were all in the cadaver, and he was like, "Spleen," and everyone was like, "Tommy's so fucking stupid."
yeah, like, it does sound like a weirdly made up word. Like, what's its root, spleen? What language is that we've stolen that from? Like, that's got to be German or some shit.
Happened when Batman would hit you in a weird spot.
Spleen.
And they'd have to cut. Whoa, that was a spleen. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
I reckon it was just written on a piece of paper or someone misread it or some shit. Like potatoes, you know that horse? Potatoes, where it was the horse was called Potatoes and the stable boy misread it, so he wrote 8 O's afterwards.
What?
8 O's.
Imagine. Mysteries of the world. Mysteries of the world. I love these kind of facts. Also, where did I always keep asking people in the medical profession, like, when do you get to the point where you want to do proctology?
Yeah, like, how long into it though? Like, do you specialize? Like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but
When
like,
you say,
surely you're not top of your class, right? Like, if you're going into proctology, like, you've not got an option of all the fields. Surely your proctologist is not going to be the best doctor in the fucking building. He's not going to be like, do you know, we've got the best proctologist in the fucking country. Like, this guy can feel a fucking pee through a mattress.
Yeah, he's got small fingers.
Yeah, really long, really. I'd make a great proctologist, to be fair. Like,
really long, slender, well-kept fingers. Yeah. And I feel like he has to
self-lubricating.
He sits back here. Wait, someone had a minor at college. I feel like at some point, like the proctologist guy in the graduating class, he hears people whispering and stuff, and then the gynecologist says some shit. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't look at pussies all day, you fucking perv."
Yeah, it's a weird choice to make. Although, if you are a proctologist right now, I bet you're in the hospital canteen just with a coffee, just like, "Oh, who's the dickhead who feels asses all day now?" Because I don't know if they're any fucking use during the COVID crisis. Like, you know, like, I'm sure.
I think they're gloating. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. No, everybody's washing their hands.
No, like, I'm sure. Like, are those departments like shutting down? Surely it's like all hands to the pump now. It's like, right, you have to remember what you learned at college about viruses. Surely everyone at the moment. I think it's all everyone's. Point, yeah, like, I think everyone's involved in that one thing right now. Like,
I always wondered, like, that was probably what happened in the supermarkets. You know, like the people that worked in the George section. You know, like when they were doing the panic buying, and they're just like, "Listen, Gene, we need you to get on fucking beans." And she's like, "You're not allowed to leave the carpeted area," and fuck off.
So we think the cosmetic surgeons are on deck as well. People are like, "Listen, okay, you guys may have forgotten this, but behind those titties are lungs." Trouble. We need you guys to. Like, oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I was trying to explain to. I was speaking to a plastic surgeon at a gig, and like, I was sort of like, it was like a late night gig, and I was like talking to him about how, like, it's kind of disappointing that you've learned the skills to be a surgeon and you choose to do plastic surgery. Because even at your most noble, right, you're only taking the life that someone else saved, you're just making that person more fuckable, no matter what. Even if they're a burns victim, you're just making them re-fuckable. That's literally that's the most you can do as a plastic surgeon.
You just expect the booze.
You think people... Yeah. Listen, I know the Blaze was terrible and you lost your family, but... don't you worry. In a few months, you'll be good enough for some dick again.
You're going to be a 7.
By the time they bury you.
But doctor, I was a 6 before the Blaze.
I was in Atlanta once doing a show, and afterwards, these really rich people were there, and one of the ladies had so much plastic surgery that her head, you remember in Beetlejuice when they were making themselves weird? You know, like she elongated her face like that. She looked like a bird. She looked like a bird in a rubber human mask. Like, and I was just shocked by it, and I was just looking at her constantly in the discussion, and a guy comes up to me and he goes, "I get to take that home every night."
And they were driving home going, what the hell was wrong with that guy's accent? Eh?
Man, like this, that, yeah, like this, that, but you know, good on that guy and woman, I guess. If he thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world, brilliant. But like, too much plastic surgery is worse than just having an old face by a mile. By a mile. Have an old face.
Yeah, because you don't look like you're younger. You just look like someone that's had plastic surgery, I guess, a lot of the time. Because it's like
it's not good. Plastic surgery isn't good. Photoshop is much better. Just take photos on Instagram and Photoshop them.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the plastic thing or cosmetic surgery is, for me, it's this becomes a real slippery slope, and it's more the fact that, like, I don't know how well the technology's progressed yet while we're still doing this. Because, like, Donald Trump is a billionaire, but that toupee says 100 there.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Kanye West has a great hair transplant. Wayne Rooney has a great hair transplant. Andros Townsend, excellent hair transplant. And I'm just wondering...
And Andros Townsend has a massive fucking beanhead as well, so it must have taken fucking ages to do his hair transplant. Sorry,
that wasn't built in a day. And I feel like it's weird that, I guess because Donald Trump would have been early in the waiting list to get one. But, you know, that definitely needs an MOT.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he needs a hair transplant, though. I think he thinks his hair looks rad. He's like an open spot who doesn't know their shit at comedy. You know, like when you see a comedian, like, absolutely die on their ass and be like, afterwards, like, yeah, they're great tonight. Yeah. And you're like...
And I feel like, Donald Trump's supporters are like Chortle in that they'll to follow them into the abyss. And they get overrated until they become low-functioning alcoholic... wrecks, basically.
Mate, like if comedians think they're useless in a crisis, like being a comedy critic right now, Jesus Christ, there's a whole nother level, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a bleach without a blood supply, so
yeah.
Hard times. You're malaria without an African child, aren't you, Chortle? No suffering for you to feed from.
To be honest, like this has cemented a lot of what I've thought about the comedy industry. Like, I don't think I'm going back to the Edinburgh Festival. You know, like I think I'm done with it. I don't think it's useful as it used to be anymore. Like, it's still fun, and I'll miss that about it. But I think it might be time to let it die off a bit before it regrows. I think a lot of the worst excesses of the festival could do with fucking off, and the rents will go down if people stop going, and the Big Four will lose sway if people stop going. Like, you know, it's just I think it might be time for it to just die back a bit. And like, I was never really playing the game. I wasn't in the brochure, you know, I was doing free shows and all that, but still I'm putting money into the landlord's pockets, and like I'm just sort of propagating a system that I think is bullshit, and we can just totally go around it with the internet now. So I think I'll just spend next year just touring and doing my own shows and doing my own shit and fuck the Edinburgh Festival.
Do it, man. Those landlords are missing that $8,000 per room. Scumbags.
Yeah, well, I reckon what's going to happen is comics will sort of band together, and if there's a large enough collection of us, and then competing places like you know, we don't always have to go to Edinburgh in August. We could move it around.
Exactly. We can go where we want, and like, but
make it like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like pick a different place.
Yeah.
But like that would be cool. That's a great idea. But like comedians are banding together, and that's the fucking beautiful thing right now. Because like there's no scarcity anymore. Because like we can all do shit online, and there is enough internet for everyone. So we're not competing for the same 3 slots on a fucking panel show, right? Because there's infinite audience for all of us. So we can all just like create our own little platform and bring other people into it and like boost each other and just share each other's shit, and then we take over. We're in charge. We're the fucking industry.
As
it's
it
beautiful.
Should be. Not only that, like a lot of people are dying, which is just gonna thin it out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the death rate will help.
Yeah. And a lot of comedians will be losing family members, and they're gonna be way too sad to get back in the game.
Oh no, man, they'll be doing an Edinburgh show next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully somewhere else.
Yeah. Like, now the Edinburgh Festival will go on fine without me next year, but it will be full of a lot of shows I don't want to see.
Next year, you want to do a show with that which doesn't mention coronavirus.
Exactly, that's the gimmick. Yeah.
This is what I'm quite happy because I had my show ready last year and I did a work in progress. So all of it is done and none of it was written in the time of Corona.
Nice. So you can just like, so you're just gonna like roll that out and like work that for next year and then film that and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So you still got that in the can. Oh, brilliant, man! You've got a show ready to go.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, like I've got 20 minutes of my new show. Like, as soon as this is over, I'm gonna get rolling on that. I had someone like message me like underneath my special on YouTube. Like they put yesterday, when's your new special? What do you mean? How do I fucking know? When am I allowed out? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I can't really plan at the moment. It's very hard to film a comedy special.
Like, what happened to the internet? It's the greatest place, Rob. That's what the internet is like, okay? It's fucking psychos asking questions you know you can't answer.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't give a shit. Like, it rolls off me, man. Like, I always find it really funny when people try and, like, insult me to hurt me. It's like, you're on my computer. Go away. Yeah. Like,
I did a tweet that went viral, and the amount of people that just, because it was sort of a slight at the Conservative Party, but
sure.
The amount of people like, who the fuck are you? What? I never heard of you. And it's like,
well, this isn't a
comedian.
Leave him alone. He thinks he's a comedian.
Yeah.
You're a comedian.
Look, it's there online.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Yeah, comedian in quotes is the weirdest insult. Like, if there's one thing I am provably, it is a comedian. You know, there is the evidence there. You can watch a comedy special of me stood on stage in front of a load of people being a comedian. I don't get why that's meant to insult me. It's like, oh, and if you don't find me funny, fucking fine. Loads of people don't. Loads of people are miserable cunts.
It's the least original thing you can say to a comedian, especially like say, "Oh, you're not funny." Like, well, no one's going to call the Guinness Book of Records for the greatest heckle ever heard. It's really, it's like if you say to a footballer, he can barely shoot. I mean, he's not going to be like, "What? Stop the fucking game. What did you say?" I mean, be more original.
You've
say something like,
to a comedian, like, we've heard a lot of shit, and like we've had it said to our face, like, fuck you over the internet. I've stood in front of 400 people in Preston who hated me, and I stood there and I took it. I took it when they wouldn't look at me. I took that. You think that you typing a mean comment is going to affect me?
You think I'm scared of hecklers when Preston exists, you fucking clowns? Preston's a fucking shithole, and I've been twice, and it's full of fucking shit, bigoted scum. You think I'm scared of you, internet troll? I've been to Preston, that fucking dog shit place. I wouldn't even fuck a minor in Chernobyl. I'd fuck a minor in Chernobyl before I went back to Preston.
Yeah, you want to put Chernobyl on the end of that shit.
Yeah.
That's right. In Chernobyl.
I wonder if these people do the same thing to anyone else they don't agree with. They're like a doctor, and they're like, "Oh, I have cancer, do I?" Doctor. You know, like,
yeah. I never heard of you.
I think the anti-lockdown protesters approved. Yes.
Yeah.
Same kind of people. They go, if you go outside, you will die. Well, I ain't coming here about my medical condition from no doctor.
Yeah. Oh man, did you see Tim Robinson? He's an American like sketch comedian. He was like he was trolling those protests, right? And he did it so well. The news just reported on him like he was a protester, right? Honestly, it was amazing, right? So the clip is so funny. So the clip is like it shows like two normal vox pops and then him. He pops up, and the first one's like this guy like, but I need to get out and go buy my guns and all. Go to the range and I need to do things. I need to support local businesses. And then it's a woman who's like, I need to get my hair cut and all this. And then it cuts to Tim Robinson, the comedian, in his car going, I need to go get my Halloween things. And like just in the news, they're just like completely like, yeah, that's where we're at. It is impossible to satirize. It's why I don't bother with political comedy a lot of the time.
The truth now is stranger than fiction. Easily.
Gone. It's boring. Like it's like you know how are you meant to satirize the news? You go like like our prime minister, his response to like a worldwide pandemic was to go shake more hands, right?
And then he got sick.
And then he got sick. And then he almost died. Right. This is the guy that is in charge. Like write something weirder than that.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's so like they're going, he didn't ever not listen to his experts. And I'm like, well, he did at one point, because no doctor went, get down to the hospital and start shaking hands. Get down there.
Start licking bedpans.
Exactly. Or depends on the doctor. It might be the NHS doctor and they've gone, Boris Johnson. He's gone, what do you suggest is the best way for me to do with this? Yeah, shake hands. Do that. Go ahead. Shake hands.
Yeah, go.
Okay,
lick tongues.
Yeah.
Set up a kissing booth down by the ICU.
Do you want to try this new bat soup we've got on the? It's fucking madness, man. So yeah, I've always like stayed away from it for that reason. And also, like, I can't be asked being on anyone's fucking team. I don't like, I think that's a trap you can fall into if you do too much like on the nose satire stuff. Like you end up with everyone people being disappointed when you disagree with them. I get that online. I like that online when people are like, "Oh, I liked you until I heard you say this," and I was like, "Well, fuck off then. I've no interest in you." Like,
you get some people going, "This is a really bad look for you, Glenn." Like, you're not the fucking boss. You're giving me a talking to.
I know.
Come in here, Glenn.
Yeah.
The stuff you're doing is really bad. It looks bad.
No, and we've all made a career out of saying bad shit.
And
That's
dumb
like,
shit. People are like, this is who you are. You weren't with me in Bratislava. You don't have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Were you in Budapest 2007? If you were, you realize this shit is real consistent with Dane Baptiste. Real consistent.
This is on brand for Baptiste.
Classic Baptiste, really. Classic.
You're not the guy I'm pretending I'm friends with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's such a mad criticism. Like, also, like, why do people need to agree with a comedian? I don't agree with most comedians most of the time, but I like them and I enjoy their comedy. Like, who gives a shit? Like, comedians aren't in charge of anything. Like, it's such a weird, like, wrongly distributed anger to be like, that guy disagrees with me. Like, when people say it to me, it's like, I don't even vote. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm having no influence on anything, right?
Which I'm sure makes them feel much better.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man.
You realize your irresponsible comments are going to cause, and you go, I don't even vote. And then I'm going,
oh, mate. Yeah, mate. I said that, and it really blew people up. I got told when I posted a video saying I don't vote, and I missed out the bit where I lived in a really safe seat just to wind them up. But yeah, I posted that, and someone underneath it said that I would be personally responsible for the Muslim death camps that the Conservatives were going to set up. So, right, this is a guy I went to school with. I was like, all right, I don't know if that will be my responsibility. I don't know if I will be shouldering the blame for that one.
Yeah, that's not the angle the news would take.
Yeah, yeah. Like, they'll be like, Muslim death camps found, comedian found to not vote is probable cause.
Yeah, how many men died in Mulholland's camps?
They're calling this the Mulholland virus because I did a podcast where I said I didn't think it was that bad a few months ago.
Yeah, Rob Mulholland has an opinion. Is the Mein Kampf of 2000?
I'll say it's so funny that the book is called Mein Kampf, like that Hitler was speaking about Jews like it was anorexia. It's a real struggle for me every day to bring. This is my fight. What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, is this fucking anxiety?
Yeah. Like, because Britney Spears and he's just shaved his head.
But like, to be fair, it does seem like he was pretty wound up about Jewish people. Like, I
mean,
he definitely got in his head about him.
There are bad people on both sides, according to the president. Bad people on both sides. And then it transpired that actually there weren't bad people on both sides. For example, the fact that apparently Jeremy Corbyn was supposed to be an anti-Semite, it turned out he never was.
Well, yeah,
and,
like I always like the thing is that the bad people on both sides is true, and like when you get to like really extremes, but I think the proportion on right and left, and like I'm not particularly on anyone's fucking team, but what I would say in the favor of the left wing is the bad guys on the left wing tweet me when I make a joke they don't like and are very annoying about me learning a load of new words I don't really care about. Whereas the bad guys on the right, like, shoot up schools and, write screeds about how women deserve to be raped and are actual Nazis. So, I think that, there's the degrees of bad guy.
rather be trapped in an elevator with like a non-binary unicorn than a Nazi.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'd probably rather go for a pint with the right winger. Like, you know, you'd get some funnier jokes told.
Yeah,
Depends how far right you're going. Because I feel like at both ends
time.
of the political spectrum,
you lose humor.
The cuisine is terrible. Like this shit, this is like gluten-free, vegan. Like this has got no trans fats in it. And this is like spices that come from brown people. I'm not using them.
Have you seen that video of the supply? They did like a school. I can't remember where the school was. It was down south somewhere. And they interviewed like loads of people in school. Like, what's your favorite food? Do you like pasta? They said something like, do you like pasta? And the supply teacher went, none of that foreign muck for me.
like it's 1954. Like this is when it's first arrived in Britain.
Yeah.
What's the pasta? If you don't like pasta or rice or couscous or bulgur or the other foreign stuff, what is your slow release carbohydrate?
Potato.
You must literally eat potato.
Yeah. What if you also hate the Irish then?
French fry.
They do, but they eat the potatoes still.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was trying to find out what
you
is
could justify it by you're thinking while you're eating their potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. They're starving. I guess that's how you do it. Yeah.
I think in general, hatred of the Irish has died down. I've not seen any open.
Not in my household, Rob. She's sat there now, tap dancing or something. Some sort of jig.
Quiet down with your fucking fiddle.
It's on the top of the fucking morning.
Middle of the afternoon.
It's the evening. What the fuck is she still doing? That's the extent of my Irish knowledge, everybody.
Yeah. Like, don't worry. Like, this has never been a show to shy away from rampant stereotyping.
You damn right, brother.
As he was late.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right, fool. Oh Lord. So now that we are on lockdown, have you seen any film trailers? I guess because they're not anticipating being able to go to cinemas anytime soon, but
I saw Trolls have got a new film out. I've seen that trailer. They're releasing that on telly, so you can just watch it on like Disney Plus or some shit. So if you want to watch the new Trolls film,
I'll check it out. Has anyone here got Disney Plus?
Yeah, well,
I do.
Cool.
I probably shouldn't say. Someone I know's girlfriend works for Disney Plus, so yeah, I've got it. Yeah. So like, it's all right, man. Like I'm much, they're keeping my friend alive at the moment, so thanks to them. So I've got nothing bad to say about that company. Only positive thoughts about Disney always.
Well put. Because they own your fucking childhood, Rob.
Mate, they have my balls in a vice currently.
Absolutely. You wanna have an imagination or do any cosplay or fancy dress or have your children distracted so you can still love them, you need to do that through Disney.
Yeah, it's a tip I saw. If you're gonna make a homemade sex tape, play a Disney film in the background, because then if it's uploaded to the internet, Disney's lawyers will find it and get it taken down.
Yeah, they've got like the best algorithms, haven't they, for listening to the sound waves.
So put a Disney song on in the background, and then you can't be revenge porned.
That's a good idea. However, if you haven't got Disney on before you have a sex tape, whoever you're fucking, you should.
If there's too many Disney toys in a woman's house, that is a red flag.
If someone is entertained by Disney films, there's probably a discussion you need to have.
What one would you be able to put on that you'd still be able to fuck to? Like,
what's the sexy
Mandalorian?
Yep,
Baby Yoda really gets you going, does it?
Mandalorian is pretty. That's a sexy fucking film, yeah. And Baby Yoda, that gets the ovaries going. Let's be serious. That's some cute shit. That gets it going. I would have said The Lion King. It's kind of
like it's got some
animalistic.
Jams. The Circle of Life. I guess that sort of works.
There you go. That's what I call it. You call it that too?
There's that bit where Nala like comes back and she looks quite sexy in that bit, doesn't she? The way like she pins him down and like
I know that was pretty hardcore. That was nice.
Yeah.
Man, I watched Toy Story 4 like the other night, 2 nights ago, because like I love Toy Story films. So I put this off. I watched it the other night, and like fuck me, is that disappointing, man? Like it's really fucking bad. Like it's just not the same thing. It's just like a real pale imitation. None of the main characters are in it, man. Like they didn't get Mr. Potato Head's voice, so he just doesn't say anything for the whole film. So shit.
How do you not get those people back?
It's fucking Toy Story 4. Like, how can you not pay them enough to come do those things? It's
well,
mad.
to be fair, toys are becoming, I guess, for kids are quite obsolete. So
yeah, let it die now. Let it die.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let it die, unless of course the story takes place in a developing country, and then they can start all the way from scratch. Kids have got shit from like toy drives. It basically like, or do you know what would be the best Toy Story sequel? Let's look at the toys that live in Sid's house.
yeah.
Remember Sid from the first Toy Story, and they had like the spider leg dolly and stuff. That would be Toy Story 5, Sid's house.
Down gritty reboot.
Yeah, I always thought it'd be funny to do a Toy Story, but for drugs.
From drugs 20s, come to life.
Drug story.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
What's the film called?
That's a pitch, Glenn. Sit on that. Don't say that on podcasts.
What's the one that Seth Rogen did?
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party. Yeah. That was funny.
I didn't feel it, man. It wasn't the one for me.
It was a hard sell, but at the time, I think Seth Rogen just had like carte blanche, so fuck it.
Yeah, there was a point where Seth Rogen would just make anything, and
you'd hope he had carte blanche with that. I hope 9 people didn't. All right, we'll hire the best writers in the land. We'll make our classic. It'll be the Ben-Hur of our day.
Here's always the thing about like films, like when you see the credits, like how many people have to work on a shite film? Like, you know how long the credits are on Paul Blart Mall Cop 2? There's like hundreds of people worked on that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, why are there still credits on movies? The internet's there. Like if you want to know who the best
IMDb was the whole list, right? Exactly.
Yeah, like, and they're becoming less and less a thing though, because like companies just try and move you on. I cut them off the end of my special because no one watched it, and I also you want to get people onto the next video is how the internet works, isn't it?
Disney, on the same subject, brought back the relevance of rolling credits because everyone sticks around for the post-credit scene. So I like
it. I like the little moment to just sit in what you've just watched and like have a little bit of music. Like I quite like end credits. I like
a blooper reel during the credits.
Oh,
mate, yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Hot Shot. Yeah, anyone ever see the Hot Shots films? The Hot Shots Freddy Sheen. So they would have like the credits and they would have like the bloopers, but they'd also have like joke reels that they put like a recipe in for like chocolate brownies and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Or like when they'll do a thing where it's like. John Joe went on to become a captain in the US military, like what went on after. I never give a shit about those. Like, I was like, I don't care. It's over now. Story's over. Don't give a fuck about what.
There's a lot you can do when something says based on a true story.
Oh, man, yeah. There's some outrageous takes on that.
Like, for example, have you guys seen Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco is the film with, it's Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. Johnny Depp, plot spoilers ahead, warning. So he's playing a FBI of guy. What's the word he was for him? Agent, that's the one. He's Joe Pistone, and I think he infiltrates one of the mafia crime families. And then at the end in the film, so his friend is Lefty, which is Pacino, and he puts his stuff in a safe as if he's driving off to die because he fucked up when they found out that Johnny Brasco is an informant. And actually, what happened in real life was that the FBI picked him up, Lefty Ruggiero, on the way there, and was like, "If you flip, then we can protect you." And he was like, "Fuck that!" So he actually is still alive in prison.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it might be out now, but he was like, the film was bullshit because they made it out as if he was like going to die, and he just didn't snitch.
Yeah, like I fucking hate shit like that, man. Like The Damned United was on TV the other day, and like it's a film about Leeds United in the 70s, and they put it on TV the day after Norman Hunter, who is played by someone in the film, died. And a bunch of like the players from the time sued over this film because of their portrayal in it. They're basically the baddies, and like it's totally horribly inaccurate. And like I was like, fuck the BBC for doing that. Like putting that on the day after Norman Hunter died, like the day after. You have to put that on TV then. Like fuck right off doing that shit. Like no time for that. The man has just fucking died. He's a legend.
Yeah, and the amount of times they do change it, like they wouldn't. They took the road to Bali off. That romp. It's right after the Bali bombing, and I thought,
oh yeah,
come on, no.
They didn't show New York City cops on like that song on Top of the Pops that week because of fucking 9/11, and like they renamed the song on the album.
No, it was just a bad song, Rob.
Yeah, it's weird. They try and do these things. I think it's in good taste. It's like when they brought out "Surviving R. Kelly" mere days after I finally got hold of the DVD. And I was like,
man, have you got the DVDs of that? Are you planning to re-watch Surviving R. Kelly? Like, one watch was enough for me, man. Like,
he's got to make sure he doesn't make the same mistakes as R. Kelly.
So this is where she squealed.
Well, he said, telling you to put Disney on in the background.
I'm telling you how to avoid this stuff.
If only R. Kelly had seen the lockdown.
You girls ever been to Chernobyl? Chernobyl.
No, you guys? It's all Chernobyl. What happens in Chernobyl stays in Chernobyl.
Really fucking does.
Actually,
it should do. It should do.
Actually, you'll find it probably give it like 30 plus years, and then it's redacted, and then it's released in like linked documents. But before that,
those miners were like, "For fuck's sake!" No one was supposed to find out.
Oh, it's so funny if it was like in Pompeii, and like when the reactor went off, they were like fossilized, or like.
Yeah.
Like just shadows blasted against the wall.
Yeah.
I think that happens. I feel like if people are aware that they are like basically on the cusp of an apocalypse, they're like, what should we do? I feel like they find loads of stuff and they're like, these ancient clippings and potteries, what do they mean? It means that someone was getting double anally penetrated.
Yeah. That's what broke the dish.
We do always ascribe like anything that was like thousands of years ago. We're like, what mystical meaning must it have? But they were just fucking people like us. Like most of it was probably dick jokes and bullshit. Like they were just people. Like we're not leaving artifacts for the future everywhere, are we? No, we're just going on Twitter and going, I had a nice sandwich.
Exactly. Living life. I've theorized, there are people, you be on a bus and there are people on that bus that were descended from the same kind of whores that you see in brothels depicted in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You say to yourself, when I see Dickensian whores, as they're depicted in mainstream media or in literature, what happened to those whores when the book ends? They go on and live normal lives and have those kids, and those kids become internet trolls. So, circle of life. That's what they say on Disney Plus.
Hakuna motherfucking Matata.
That's right. Your Matata's a fucking hoe. How about that?
Every time I see prostitutes in Victorian era films, I just can't help it. I just go, man, they must have stank.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a lot of cum without washing.
That's a lot of
Your cum to wash ratio is way off there. It should be one wash per cum.
Just everybody stank.
Yeah, everyone stanks. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No one's like, what's that smell?
We don't mean to single out sex workers. Yeah, but they're doing a dirty job.
Yeah, a lot of gin. That's coming out too.
I don't think the gin is going to be the main issue with the odor, to be honest with you, Glenn. I think I would happily take a gin mask over that.
It's not going to play a positive role in the overall aroma.
That's true. That being said, though, I guess the air was cleaner in those days, so you go.
Yeah.
So it was just it just had more to ride in on, and nothing was penetrating it.
Exactly. Old people was like, in the old days, you could go out, leave your doors and your windows open. Well, you had to because it smelled of like stank pussy. So
there has never been a period in history where we have had both clean air and pussy.
Yeah, that's true.
One or the other.
Yeah, you know what that is, Rob? You know what you call an era of clean minds, clean pussy, and clean air? A utopia.
Right, that's a dream we could all believe in. Yeah,
that's
and hopefully
paradise.
That's what we'll get to after this.
In fact, that's pretty much how they radicalize terrorists. They're like, hey man, you like clean pussy? Of course I do.
I want to see a picture of a fanny and just like
exactly
returning.
Exactly. How would you like?
Humans are the
how would you
real
like 40
fans.
of them clean pussies? What would you call 40 clean pussies in paradise? Fucking paradise. Well, I can make it happen. All you need to do is take this jacket
Well, like nature is returning though. Like vaginas are definitely getting hairier. Like everyone's getting hairier everywhere. So I think it's a return for the clean hairy bush. I think that's the time. I think now's the time for the bush to come back into fashion.
I thought this too, that all those magazines that are in the forest are now starting to degrade, unloved, unleafed, and their big pictures of big bushes are turning into mulch, making the actual bushes grow big. It's so pleasant.
Oh my God, it's touching, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a Toy Story-esque like story I'd like to see. Just the porno bushes, like the bush porn. Into life.
Mate, that is an inspirational Instagram.
Yeah.
I think I'd watch Sex Toy Story. I'd watch that. I'd watch Sex Toy Story. We start off with like Buzz.
And Woody. Right, it writes itself, man. Right.
It writes itself.
It writes itself.
Mr. Potato Head's like, I'm in.
There you go, exactly.
God, that slinky dog. You know what they did to that dog.
Exactly, little gleaming things like the claw is my master.
You got the pig just with like latex, little nipples, just clamps.
I could definitely see that.
6 of them.
That's never been a thing that interests me though. Is like, you know, sometimes on porn they have like these pornographic parodies of cartoons and stuff.
No
and,
thanks.
I've never been inclined, especially because there's always like a lot of like canonical inconsistencies. So they'd be like, you want to see some sex? And I'd be like, there is no way that Chitara would fuck Wily Cat. He's too young. Think about what you're doing, guys.
Well, like the problem with it for me is like you're essentially at that point you are knocking one out to some like dude drawing. Like,
I always found they were never good drawers either. Like close to the Simpsons or anything.
You know the Simpsons.
They've got 5 fingers.
The Simpsons one, if you saw that, you could have technically been charged with pedophilia or kiddie porn.
I think it depends where you are in the world. Yeah. But
someone did in Australia for having some on the computer.
I don't think that counts. I think, right, to be honest with you, I think let paedophiles have drawings. Like, you know, if
in Canada, that's what they did. And we've never had a problem since.
Right.
So that's the end of Canadian paedophilia.
Yeah, worked.
There is a whole industry for like pedophilic animation over there in Japan. You see the schoolgirl things? Schoolgirls are pretty young. So.
Yeah, like that's always a concerning fetish. Like I ain't here to kink shame because I know that'll turn some of your perverts on. But like no, like
oh yeah, comedian.
Yeah, but schoolgirls seem suspicious.
They need really dumb girls that can't pass. They still get to wear the uniforms, but they're
just really into slow women.
And why can't that be a thing?
Hey, if you're down, like, you know, like, well, it could feel a safeguarding issue is a reason why that's not. These women are vulnerable. They're slow.
I can't be IQ higher than 110. Is that?
Yeah, you got to be careful for a different reason. How many times did she fail? Okay.
All right, that seems like a medical issue at this point.
Everyone of consenting age needs love, Rob.
Sure, but like in like, you know, it's like on the Undateables. They do what the Paralympics do. They put them by category. Like, you know, so like they'll go, we'll get 2 of these similar levels of ability together, and then we'll put 2 who've got like a leg missing, you know, and otherwise are totally fine. We'll put them together. They don't put like someone who's missing a hand with someone who's got Down syndrome. Like they rank it sensibly, I think.
I remember I saw that on Dateables once, and there was one guy who gained a modicum of fame from it, and he was a guitar player, and he booked a tour, and
this is a guy from Brighton, like long curly hair. Yeah.
And they showed it. They're like, and this is what happened. And it's like above a pub, and they're like they're showing the crowd.
Oh man,
kind of trying to say that it was sparse, and I was looking at it going, that's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah. It was
sold all right.
It was on the I-20 in Brighton, this gig. I remember it's the I-20 is like a donut thing that goes up in the air in Brighton on the beach. And like, yeah, he booked that out. And like, yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, I've done fucking worse than that. I was like, yeah, it looked rough. The room shape was all wrong. It's a donut.
Who did his PR, I thought.
Who books this?
He was doing well. Like, there's one guy, Ray, who is now like a legend at Leeds United. Like, he's a guy off the Undateables. He's been on it like 3 times, and like he comes to Leeds, and like we all knew him anyway because he bangs a little drum, and like he's dead excited all the time. And like, so like he's become like now on match days, like he walks through the crowd and everyone's like cheering him as he goes. It's fucking beautiful, man. It's genuinely a nice thing. Like, yeah, he's fucking hero now. Love Ray. Shout out Ray if you're watching.
Ray all day, but is he getting the poon is the question.
Yes, man. Yes. Yeah. Like he hooked up a few times and now he's got like a long-term girlfriend. He's the one who was on there. He took her to a Leeds game. Like his first date, this one didn't work out because he took his date to a Leeds game and the girl he took couldn't understand that she was meant to cheer for Leeds. So she was in the crowd at Leeds United going, "Come on, Hull." Like with this guy, and he's gone like, this is his whole world, football. That's all he cares about. And like, it's just like, he's sat there seething. And you can see people, even though, right, they're in the disabled section, there's still people giving them looks. Like, because there's people who aren't like in any way mentally handicapped in wheelchairs being like, is she fucking serious?
They've got the Undateables crew around them with like Undateables jackets on and stuff like that. And
still like, people are like, mate, do you want to wind this in? Do you want to shut her up?
Has she not got like a muzzle or something? Or
But I'm happy to report Ray is happily, I think engaged actually. So good on Ray.
I can't even get a text back.
It's a hard time for a single man.
She's engaged to Ray, that's why.
Sorry, man, you got beat by the better man. Yeah, you should see the way he bangs that drum, mate. You know he's banging hard.
I mean, and I've not done much work on Channel 4, to be fair.
This is it, man. He's got good TV. He's got better TV credits than me.
Yeah, his TV credits are up. They're up. So I probably got more followers too. So you know, the game's the game. Game's the game.
There was a comedian on it, wasn't there? On the Undateables.
Was there?
Yeah, there was like a comedian. He had like Tourette's.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, well, that's a low tier one. Like, that's, you know, like that, you're probably going out with a normal person. Sorry, is normal the wrong word? I don't know.
Yeah.
A dateable.
I think that would go
a normal comedian
in the lower circuit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even know.
Exactly, you have no idea.
Yeah, it must be very inconvenient to live with, though, to be fair. Like, I'm bad enough with impulse control of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like, I just blurt things out. But if I literally couldn't control it at all, some of the thoughts I have, Jesus fucking Christ.
Getting stuck behind an old woman in the shop is just, that would be me. Done.
Just die. Yeah.
If I had a camera or a microphone in my car, I would be at The Hague now.
Yeah. I'll be honest. A lot of my criticism of people's driving turns racial when I'm alone.
Oh God, is that all?
No, that's step one. That's step one. Like I'm in general quite a chill guy, but I don't deal with frustration well. And when I'm driving, it really comes out. So if I'm by myself, I'm in that little box of rage, and I just will. If someone cuts me off, I will for half an hour be driving, shouting to myself on my own. Like, I've had it before where I was in traffic and I was like having a go at someone in front of me and I didn't realise both of our windows were down. I caused the situation.
It happened. I was driving home recently, and there was a bus that stopped like on a junction, and then a car just came out of nowhere from like a T junction and cut me up, almost hit my car from behind this parked bus. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? The guy's like, back off. I was like, fuck that shit. Kind of basically sped after him. And then he basically did some evasive maneuvers. Do you know the irony of it was, you know where I was driving home from? Speed awareness course. Hardened criminal. As soon as I was back on the roads, I was like, fuck it, back to that gangster shit. I don't give a fuck.
You've got inside knowledge now.
Can't hold me down. I'll do my time. Shit. Ain't no thing. I'm scared of a course. Shit.
Give me all the points you want, fucker.
That's right. Parking ticket.
Now I know about stopping distance.
Yeah. I don't really, but I know I'm looking at when you turn.
I can estimate. I got into a rage incident right after Christmas in the car wash by mine. So some dude I was waiting in the queue and some dude pushed in front. And when I got out to confront him, he threatened to shoot me.
Oh yeah, that'll happen in Liverpool.
But the thing was, I was like, mate, if you're that high up in the gang that you can like order a hit, you're probably high enough up in the gang that you can get someone to fucking run a sponge across your car once every so often.
Real and you driving a Fiesta like a bitch.
He was.
What car was he driving?
He was driving. It was like a shit Audi. An older Audi.
Just getting it for the badge, innit? To try and show off they got an Audi.
Exactly. All that money's just gone into those appearances, mate. Don't worry about that.
I had one in Brighton, because people in Brighton are way more angry than everyone expects, because loads of people moved to Brighton from London because they thought the city was stressing them out, but it turns out they're just cunts. Yeah. And it's a really shit place to live because it's really overcrowded and really expensive, and it's not an easy place to live. I didn't really enjoy it, but all the time I was getting in little fucking arguments with tossers. But I had one where I was in a petrol station and someone cut in front of me, but the annoying thing was I'd moved up to let them get into the garage behind me, and then they cut me in to get the pump. And I wound down my window. I was like, "Fuck are you doing, dickhead?" Because I didn't want to escalate.
Going two-footed.
Yeah, I just went straight in. I can't help myself. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dickhead?" And he goes, "Oh, I thought you were waiting for a different pump." I was like, "What do you think I had a favourite? Do you think I was like? do you think I was like? Oh no, you go for this one, mate. I like number 3 actually. It gives us really smooth action. What you on about? A different pump?" And he's went, "Oh, I thought they're on different sides." It's like, do you not know pumps go both sides? The hoses are long. You can take it either side. What you on about? And he just goes, "Oh, if you don't shut up, I'll beat you up in a minute." Right? And that made me laugh because at that point, that guy has never had a fight. I'll beat you up in a minute. And he was this middle-aged guy with a puffy sort of gilet. It was way too middle class to throw down. I knew it was not
He almost said, "I'll be forced to thrash you."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing was, I kept it cool though because that made me laugh. It de-escalated. I was like, just go ahead, you're a dickhead, right? But because that made me laugh, because there is a move I can do in road rage incidents, but I've got to save it for when it's really escalating. Where if I stand up out of my car, I suddenly become not a person in a car. I become a 6'7" guy, right? And it escalates, but it also it's an impact on a conversation. So I kept that to myself on this one. But he definitely, when he was walking back to the pump, he gave me a real wide berth. Just
he's fucking scared because he's
pussy hole, man. So if you're watching, you're a pussy hole. You're a pussy hole. Yeah, that's right. I waited 6 months and went on a podcast to say you're a pussy hole. What of it?
That's great. He probably saw you get a fucking giant get out of a car and be like, "Well, very clearly the circus is in town." His friends will be coming soon. One of them being the strongest man.
Yeah, that's it, man. I don't look hard, but I look big, and I was wearing a jacket, so that disguises how skinny I am as well. So at that point, I'm just a fucking massive dude. If I'm in a t-shirt, I'm not threatening.
Very effective tactic. Another one is also to go like that, just smile and go, and then go and open your trunk of your car. Wait there.
Put a pin in this. Put a pin in this. I'll be right back. I need one thing.
I love it when someone says, "Wait there," in a fight situation. In my old flats.
No.
In my old flats, these two guys were having a fight outside our flats. And one of them started just going down the road of cars, just headbutting the back windshield, and put 3 of them through. And this fella leaned out the window and was like, "Right, you wait there. I'm gonna come and kill you." And one of them actually was like, "We better wait here." That guy said, "Imagine what he's gonna do if we don't."
He said he'd be here.
It was a game me and my mate Steve back home used to play. He's 6'5" and also an irritating dickhead like me. So we would get really drunk and wind people up who seemed like cunts and then run away from them. So we would get them furious. So they wanted to kill us and they'd be like, "Right, fucking," and they come at us and we'd just run away a bit and then carry on taunting them from 10 meters away and just keep doing that. And like, because we were so tall, we're fast over a few yards. They could never quite catch us. And like, oh my God. I mean, it got like, yeah, it got out of hand a couple of times. Once we got a drunk and disorderly. I had to spend the night in the cells because a bouncer was racist to one of our friends, right? Basically, I was in Harrogate, very white town, right? And in our friendship group, all white guys, one Asian guy. He's wearing smart clothes like trousers and shoes. The rest of us are dressed like me, right? And like we all go up to this club, and the bouncer picked out my Asian friend and said, "Sorry, he's not dressed smart enough. You can't come in." And it's the most blatant racism I've ever, like, I'm white. I don't see blatant racism all the time. I saw it that night. You know, I saw it like blatant.
Oh, you know it was thick. So
yeah.
If you've been drinking and you're at a club and you're like, hey, that was racist. It was real racist.
It was real fucking racist. If we're spotted it at that point, a bunch of white guys in Harrogate are going, "Hold on, mate." Yeah. So like that situation obviously escalated, and we were doing a lot of that. We just decided to wind this bouncer up, and yeah, in the police report the next day, part of the reason in the arrest report, it said that when the police arrived, I was lying on my back with my trousers and pants pulled down, lying on my back with my legs in the air, waving my legs in the air, like showing in my arsehole. Like, I don't remember that bit, but like that's just like, yeah, he clearly didn't enjoy that, so I did it more. And yeah, we got arrested.
Did he enjoy it too much?
Maybe, man. Maybe that was what was going on. Maybe a little Russian minor syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's how that bouncer became a proctologist.
Right, guys, you know what? Like, that is a beautiful place to wrap it up. I think we've done like this for some time. So, like, before you go, guys, tell them about yourselves. Tell people watching where they can find you. Anything you want to plug, Glenn? Tell them about yourself, mate.
I'm Glenn, and I've got pizza in the oven. Goodbye.
I'll see you in a bit, Glenn. Dane, tell them about yourself, mate.
Thanks for having me back. It's Dane Baptiste. I'm on all your good socials. Check out my content on my YouTube channel. Yeah, just check out clips online. Stay in touch, y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming on, Dane. Come back anytime, obviously, man. Like,
thank you, brother. Happy Hot Boxing Day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Phil, tell them about yourself, mate.
I am Phil Chapman on all good social media platforms, and the Phil Chapman on Facebook, because I already had the I am Phil Chapman one set up on a thing which I lost the password to. So yeah, I am Phil Chapman on any good social media platform. Check out my videos. I do loads of them, and keep watching Rob.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like, thanks for coming on. Anyone who's been watching, if you've enjoyed this, I'm raising donations for the Trussell Trust, so there's a link below. Chuck them some money. If you've got any, if you're working at the moment, that'd be appreciated. They do great work providing meals for people who need them. My special will be popping up in a second. Click that, watch that. It's dead funny. But in the meantime, I'll be back tomorrow. Who have I got tomorrow? I've got Tez Ilyas, Stuart Goldsmith, and I can't remember who else. So I'll be back tomorrow, 4:20 p.m. live. Thanks for coming on, Phil. Cheers, mate. See you guys later.